Blunt, and he grumbles and fumbles and stumbles outside the 30. And a nice pickup up the middle by Cohen Blunt.
Okay.
And he is going to be about, it's going to be a gain of about 16 yards.
About 16 yards, brings up 2nd and 4.
2nd and 4 here for the Panthers with 5:54 and counting here in the 4th quarter. Bryce under center. He hands it off again, Cohen Blunt. And Blunt's going to have a first down for the Panthers.
Yeah, for those people, we may be on a we're on a different link now because of the software froze up on us, so we had to go to another software. So we have another link, but it is on the Navarro Panther Network still.
That's going to be 1st and 10 for the Panthers at their own 42-yard line. Bryce under center. We got motion. He does hand it. This looks like it's Mabane coming to this side. And after looks like about a 4.5 yard gain, almost 5 for the Panthers, bringing up 2nd and 6 with 4:45 here left in the game. Panthers up 28-14. We apologize if you haven't been hearing us here for the past several minutes. We looks like we got booted from the internet here in Jordanton. But there is a new link, and if you go to the Navarro Panther Network there on YouTube, you can see the new link. It's Colton Chambers. He's off to the right side. He's going to be swung around and slung for a first down after Flash Chambers is out to about the 50-yard line with 4 minutes remaining, or about a little over 4 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter.
Now, Panthers are just doing what we wanted to see earlier in this game, and that's take control on both sides of the ball, and we're seeing that now.
Right. So 1st and 10 for the Panthers. He does hand it off straight up the middle. That's Blunt. And Blunt loses his balance a little bit, but stumbles ahead for a 5.
Took him about 5 yards.
And that's going to bring up a 2nd and 5. With the ball resting at the Bishop Badger 45-yard line.
Yeah, and this is a drive that can end all drives for Bishop right now. And so we'll see if the Panthers can do that and just take it down, run the clock out. Even if you don't score here, it's fine. You could run the clock completely out by just driving it down the way they're doing right now.
Bryce hands it off again. This is Mabane. Mabane's running. Mabane's loose.
Or just
Mabane
go score.
cuts it back, and Mabane's going to score for another Panther touchdown. So Mabane runs it there for a 45. Well, no, we do have a flag.
Oh,
of
man.
course.
Yeah, how many times is that now? We've seen
course.
it at least twice now. So, and we don't have replay capability right now, so we'll get that up and running.
Yeah, we do have a flag, and of course that's going to bring it back. Spot foul, and I'm going to assume that was a holding call, and it's brought back to the 30-yard line, which means the hold occurred at about the 20, about the time Mabane broke loose. So 2:51, which honestly,
This might be better. We were talking about, or just go score.
Go score. Either one.
Yeah.
Either one, it works out for the Panthers. And he does. This side's Cropper, and Cropper's pulled down quickly.
But still getting that 3 yards or so.
Cropper with about 3, maybe 4. See where they spot it. It is going to bring up about a 2nd and 7. with 2 minutes and 30 seconds and counting here in the game. The Panthers up 28-14 here in Jordan, Texas. The area round of the playoffs, which would be the second round of the playoffs, the winner advances to play Laga Vista
or Sinton,
in which the game will occur tomorrow night in Seguin, Texas. The handoff straight up the middle to Blunt, and Blunt's still churning, and he's still going, and I think he's down, another first down for the Panthers, and he's down about the 12-yard line. They're going to spot it at the 13.
So, wow, we got it all going right now, I tell you.
Well, I think Bishop
need.
is a little bit run down. You can see him with their hands on their hips on the defensive line, and the Panthers are just punishing them at this point.
Yeah, and you know, we talked about defense. Defense needs to pick it up, do a better job. But you're still holding the team. You're holding Bishop to 14 points. You're shutting him out in this entire second half. So the defense did exactly what they needed to do in this second half.
Bryce hands it again. It's Blunt. He hands it up the middle, but Blunt is corralled. And it looks like the Badgers got a little bit of a rest there, and got the Panthers down. There's a minute 17, and this is the timeout, looks like, by the Badgers.
Right.
With the Panthers up 28-14. So you're right, Hank. We don't have to score again to kind of secure this victory here tonight and move on to the next round of the playoffs, the third round, which I said again, for you Panther fans who are sitting at home, if the Panthers can hang on here with a minute 17 left, we will be playing either Laga Vista or Sinton, who will play tomorrow night in Matador Stadium in Seguin, Texas, basically in your backyard.
Right.
So if you don't have anything, or if you just enjoy football, it should be a really, really good game there.
I would be there, that's for sure.
Between the Pirates and the Vikings, to see who the Panthers are going to play next. So Bryce under center. He hands it this time. Mabane gets out. Well, he tries to get outside, but he's wrangled down. And it looks like with about a minute, another timeout by the Bishop Badgers. And I think, well, I know that's their second,
yeah,
but I'm not sure if it's their second or third. I know it's for sure it's their second. So,
well, we'd have to thank Jordanton for their nice hospitality. We got a nice little booth up here and everything, so we're very happy that we can use the facilities and have the space we have. It's great. So thank you to Jordanton ISD. And also thanks to the Panther Posse for making this possible. This entire broadcast and the broadcast club here. We haven't, we've been going through this and hadn't even brought up our QR code here, and we'll have to bring that up. And there it is. That gives the donations to the Audiovisual Club. And so make sure to stay tuned to the post-game show where Scott Kibbe will get us the stats of the game. Here we go.
No, under center. It's Blunt up the middle on third down. And again, he is stopped, but after a minimal gain.
It's fourth down. The Panthers can let the clock kind of run all the way down, it looks like, for another 26 seconds. So it'll be right around 20 seconds before the play clock runs out. So now we'll see it's fourth down and about 5, right? And so we'll
4th and 5 from basically the 8-yard line for the Panthers. 30 seconds left in the game. The play clock is down to 5. So we'll see if the Panthers can get this off. And they do not.
Yeah,
it looks like they're content.
Right, with the delay of game.
To just run this clock out and hold the ball here. The final, it was about 4 minutes or 4 minutes plus of the game.
Yeah, I mean, a delay of game. Now, offensive penalties don't this is where it's a disadvantage now. Offensive
Right,
penalties don't stop the clock, so the clock keeps going, and that's going to be the end of the ball game. Now they're stopping it. But on the this wasn't a start of a new, they didn't come out of a timeout, so I can understand why that wouldn't. This isn't the case. They ran a play, and so they're putting it back to 16. But I'll have to go back and look at the rules. But if I remember, once you spot the ball and you're on the offensive side of the ball, only if it's a defensive penalty do you stop the clock. So I could be wrong, Lance, but that's what I remember. I don't know what even if it's a penalty against the offense, and this was still going on. So all the Panthers still have to do is go and run around for a little bit and get it down to only a couple of seconds, and you're in good shape.
Well, 17 seconds left here. 4th down at 10. Panthers can pick up a first down. They do hand it to Mabane. Mabane is brought down inside the 10, about the 8-yard line.
So 10 seconds remaining here. Panthers lead 28-14, and it looks like they'll be able to go on to the next round of the playoffs.
So the Panthers are stopped on downs, so we are actually going to have at least one play, possibly two, for the Badgers.
Well, it should be either 10 or 11. I don't think it should have been 12. It should have been 11 seconds, if anything, when Mabane went down. But they're going to give them an extra second. But they have to make 2 scores in 12 seconds. So I don't think that's feasible or possible.
So they are in shotgun formation. They throw it. It's out. He runs a little out route. He catches it, number 11. Again, their key receiver there, number 1 receiver, Jace Wilson. And that's going to be the ball game.
Yeah, they're saying his forward progress stopped and he didn't get out of bounds. So the Panthers win it. So still undefeated in the month of November since 2015. How about that, Lance?
Yeah.
It's they still keep it going. Bishop had just come up from 3A ball and into 4A Division II. So the Navarro Panthers are area champs here tonight in Jordanton, Texas, over the Bishop Badgers, 28-14. A little closer than we thought, right, Lance?
Yeah, it was a lot closer than we thought. But the Panthers do earn the victory. They do earn the right to play in the next round.
Yep.
And hey, a win's a win. And I tell you what, the defense stepped up in the second half.
Yeah.
And they basically
shut them out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drives in a row for the defense.
Yeah, and they shut them down.
Yeah.
And they let them move the ball a little bit. They got a couple first downs on those. But, pretty much we talked about it. The pass rush then became a little bit more lane rushed, where they kept them contained. And Pelagio did not have, the ability to get outside, or even he couldn't go upfield, and he's used to scrambling. And I think that was really a conservative effort by the defense and the defensive coordinator, Coach Cavazos, to make sure that he stays in the pocket. We can't let him out because he's not as big a threat throwing the ball as he is actually running the ball. So
right.
Pelagio is still a very good athlete. We saw that tonight. I think I was, like I said, I was surprised with some of the athleticism we saw from Bishop. They were very athletic, compared to what we could see on tape and on film. No matter what their strength of schedule was, they came out to play the Panthers and play tough tonight, and they did, but the Panthers were able to overcome that. So kudos to the Panthers. And so, what we'll do right now is we'll probably take a little bit of a break, and me and Lance are going to talk a little bit about a few things, and we're going to bring in Scott Kibbe in a little bit, but we are going to talk about who we're going to put together as the player of the game. So here's some of the sights and sounds, though, of the Panthers.
All right, we're back here in Jordanton, Texas, where the Panthers have won and advanced to the third round of the playoffs. They beat the Bishop Badgers tonight, 28-14. And we are here with Hank Dietrich, the voice of the Panthers. My name's Lance Blackburn, and we are here for the Panther Posse Player of the Game, Hank.
Yeah, I'm telling you that tonight we have to hand it to the entire defense in that second half. Shut down on, as you pointed out to me during that break, 7 possessions where they being Bishop Badgers had the ball, and the Panthers made stops on every one of them, either turnover and downs, punts, and it's just amazing that what the defense did in that second half. So defense wins championships. If they could carry this over, I think it'll be a big deal. So,
right,
kudos to the defense. They are the Panther Posse players of the game.
Yeah.
So good job by the defense, and we'll bring in Scott Kibbe here too, and we'll have Scott Kibbe go over a few of the final stats, and we'll do a little bracketology again, and we'll kind of see what we have. We've already given you a little preview at halftime, but we'll talk about it. So, Scott, thanks for joining us.
All right, you bet. Stats tonight for Bishop, 11 first downs, 24 rushes for 47 yards, -8 rushing yards in the second half was a big number.
Wow.
133 passing yards on 16 out of 21 attempts. They had three punts for an average of 40 yards. I guess I should make it 4 punts for 40 because I didn't include the block punt. 1 fumble and did not lose it. 5 penalties, 45 yards. Jimenez ends the night with 15 carries, 35 yards, and a touchdown, but -5 in the second half.
Right.
For the Panthers, 16 first downs, 46 rushes for 337 yards, no passing yards on no attempts, 2 punts, average of 38 yards, 2 fumbles, lost 1, 11 penalties for 85 yards. Chapa led the way, 8 carries, 112 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mebane 11 for 73, although he may have set a school record for most yards taken away.
Oh, really?
And penalties.
Wow. Wow.
I don't keep it, especially that last one was really frustrating.
We had 2 of those callbacks tonight, one Bryce Nall and the other one on penalties.
Well, and he had a 37-yard run taken away in the first half. It was huge. Again, behind the play, I don't know.
Right.
we appreciate what the refs do. We'll say that.
I mean, we've got to say that. So now, Scott, with what you saw in the stats, and you weren't here, but me and Lance just gave the player, or I should say players of the game, we gave to the Panther defense because they shut them out and a -8 yards rushing, for the entire half. And so now, I mean, put it all together, the defense, stepped it up and did what they had to do. And we saw them pressure the quarterback, but stay in their lanes this time. The quarterback could not get out of the pocket. Pelagio could not find a way out. And so we think that was one of the big differences, not the only difference, but one of the big differences we saw tonight in that second half.
Pass rush was terrific tonight, and he took a lot of hits, and we were noticing he seemed like he was losing some zip on the ball, and that may have been from the hits. And in the second half, they abandoned the running game. Bishop just had to because they weren't getting nowhere with it.
Right.
And so that was not the game they wanted to play.
Right.
In the first half, they were playing exactly the way they wanted
exactly.
it. The second half, the Panthers made them play their game a little more.
And we saw that, and that's exactly what we talked about at halftime. We said if we want them to throw the ball. We don't want them to run the ball. If we can shut down the run, they're not comfortable. They like to scramble a lot out of the pass, but pretty much, they like to run the ball. And we saw them running the ball in that I formation and doing what they want and in that first half. But in the second half, Panthers shut them down. And, man, what a great job by the Panthers defense overall. So I just can't say enough of what they did, and it was pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think they took it. They knew this game is going to be on them now. They've been able to do that, just kind of take control of some of these games and really rise to the occasion. Gave up some big plays in the first half, but really cracked down on them much better in the second.
Yeah, and I think that the defense has been progressively getting better, and you see them. They held Laga Vista to 21. They held Wimberley to 21. Last week it was 8. This week it was 14. So you've seen the defense really make strides and really shoot gaps and make good tackles, when they need to, like Arias and Rangel and the corners come up and hit them on the edges and things like that. So.
Rangel has been. I was only able to watch a film last week because obviously wasn't here. I just watched number 11 running all over.
Oh yeah, and
I don't think I'd realized that watching live how many plays that.
And he was our player of the game last
Yeah, I could certainly see why.
Yeah.
All right.
So
well, let's go back to our brackets here, and we'll talk about that as well. And tonight, as the Panthers win 28-14 over the Badgers in the area around their area champs, so we get to look at the bracket again, and. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to kind of walk behind you here, Lance.
No,
but
right.
I'm going to show you who I think will be the way that the bracket should end up, and I think y'all will agree with me once I get back to it. And so here's what I see. I see the Panthers being able, which we know they already advanced, so we'll take and move those over here, and then. We will see Lago Vista, I believe, over Sinton. Do y'all agree with that? Or do we have any doubters?
Well, I think of all the games, I think that's going to be the tightest of the games. That's my opinion. But I do see Lago Vista advancing.
I've got a lot of respect for Sinton, so I think Lago Vista is going to advance. I just don't want to disrespect them and say it's a certainty. I think I can see Sinton scenarios where Sinton may be able to pull that one out, but right now I have to go with Lago Vista, just on the weapons they have.
So I think this will happen as well because we talked about it. We may see entire districts. So we see all these come over, and I think this is what we'll see in the regional semis, and that's my belief. Now, if you want to change any of them, anybody has anything different you want to see sitting over there, my son Kyle, he told me the whole time. He's like, nope, Sinton's going to win. I know Sinton's just that good. They're always good. They have a lot of tradition, and I think they're going to beat Lago Vista. I'm like, I wouldn't put it past Sinton. I mean, I'm not saying Sinton can't win. This is my speculations and ours together to say, hey, this is what we think it'll end up being.
Yeah, I just think Lago Vista's quarterback, and they've got two really, really good receivers. And I've heard that the Sinton secondaries is a struggle, and I just feel like Lago Vista is going to take advantage of them in that part of the game.
I'll say this: weather could be a factor. I don't know. They talked about rain for tomorrow night. I don't see it now, but that would definitely be an equalizer working in Sinton's favor if the weather was in there. So.
Wow. Yeah. Well, guys, I think, man, what a night, and what a. Sorry we had the technical difficulties. We had to get off air and we had to come back on to get the computer back up and running with the streams that we lost. But we're back up and running. So thanks to everybody here, Scott. We want to look at your. Now we can look at your preview on Wednesday. Thank goodness.
And I just want to say this is 8 straight years in the third round for Navarro. Panther fans, just stop and give thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
Some programs never get there, or they go years and years without doing it. Navarro didn't until 2010 for the first time.
Right,
so,
right.
It's a pretty remarkable run.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and that's something to give thanks for. I mean, for us football fans. I mean, there's a lot of other things, and also. Lance talked about earlier tonight, Owen Gonzalez, that want to keep him in our thoughts and prayers too. Yeah. He wasn't able to join us tonight here on the field, but we are all with him in our thoughts and prayers. So please make sure to keep him there with us, and we hope everything gets better for him.
And hey, Owen, if you're watching from the hospital tonight, hello from Daddy Blackburn.
Well, all right. So we'll get you out of here. We're going to run the credits. We're going to have a little music, and then we'll get everything in place. Scott, thanks again for joining us. We'll look for your information that you had about this game in the Seguin Gazette. So, and Lance, we've had a lot of fun. So tonight, and we'll run the credits and the music, and then and we'll say goodbye. But I'm going to let Lance, you take us home.
All right, so you have been watching here live from Indian Stadium here in Jordanton, Texas, where tonight the Navarro Panthers have defeated the Bishop Badgers 28-14 here in the area round, second round of the playoffs, and will advance to the third round of the playoffs next week, Thanksgiving week. We're playing Thanksgiving week, fellas. And so you've been watching Panther football here at the Navarro on the Navarro Panther Network, powered by the Panther Posse. But, hey, good night here from Jordanton. If you didn't make it out, we'll look to see you next week, and we'll let you know where we're at. God bless, and good night.